Hello friends, and welcome back to our channel for another episode on a 380 SL. What we're doing today is undercoating the front wheel wells with the underbody rubberized underbody Rust-Oleum underbody undercoating. This is going to resist rust and prevent pebbles that fly off of the wheels to damage the metal in the wheel well, or starts nicks in it that could potentially be an area where corrosion can start. Another thing that we're doing today is replacing the transmission fluid and the transmission filter and the gasket for the pan. So we've got the vehicle up on the jack. We want it to be level so that we can access the pan in the same at the same session. So we put it on the ramps in the back. We jacked it in the front on the subframe in the front, and we set the jack stands underneath the subframe. I can show you where exactly. So you want to put them here, and we redistributed the weight on all three, so the jack has some weight on it. And this is how I like to do it. I don't like it to be 100% on the jack stands. Although the jack stands has about, I would say 90. Once the car sits on the jack stands, I relocate the jack to where it needs to be, and I give it a little bit pump so that some of the weight is also on the jack. This is a double piston jack, so if one fails, there's a second one, and if that fails, we still have the jack stands. That should be plenty of time for me to get out of there when I'm down there. Here you can see I've got some rusted parts here. Maybe it would be also an opportunity, I don't know how much time we have, to take this out and spray it as well, so that we can spray under it and spray on top. So we might have to do that. I have to check on the other side if there's anything that also needs to come out. So always you start with one project and you end up with a few more, I guess. So still need to take the wheel off here. Gotta take those two lug nuts. So the lug nuts also gonna get sanded from the rust and with a metal brush, and then sprayed just like we did in the previous episode on the rear ones. You see the rear ones, they look fabulous compared to the front ones. And then the underbody is done. It looks really nice and dry. So this is gonna get it now. We don't have much here to remove, so that's good. One thing less to remove. So yeah, we've covered the soft top kind of to protect it from the sun and from any dirt or water that could splash, because we're going to be using the power washer to power wash underneath and let everything dry. While everything dries, we're going to clean the back of the rims, which is horrible. I mean, the fronts could use a wash, but the back is really, I don't think it's ever been touched before. I don't know how many brake pads went through before these were ever washed or ever. So we're gonna give these a wash as well while the car is drying. All right, so stay tuned. I'm gonna save you the power washing part because it's noisy and dirty, but you won't have to do it. All right, next is we're going to remove that. I think this is the central locking control vacuum holding thing. We're gonna remove this bracket and clean it. Okay, we are now at a point where we're draining the transmission fluid. The fluid color looks really good, so that's a good thing to know. It's nice and red, not dark or anything, so that's a good thing. You want to see that. You don't want to see black or brown. That means your oil is pretty worn out and burnt, so to say. So that's good. That's a good sign. So now we're gonna let all the fluid drain out. Then we're gonna cap it and remove the whole pan. Here's the transmission fluid pan drain bolt, and it's this tool. Honestly, I have no idea what size this thing is. It says 87-97. And it's torqued to 14 Newton meter. So when you put it back on, you're gonna torque it to 14 Newton meter. All right, so we just took the pan off. We're gonna inspect it. It looks clean to me, but I definitely gonna take a good close inspection. And then here's the filter, which we're going to replace in a minute. You wanna make sure that you use a lint-free cloth to wipe off the excess, and the screws. I think it has screws right here. I can't tell. I need to wipe it first to figure out how this guy comes off, and then take them off and put a new filter on. So stay tuned, and that's how it goes. So the bolts are 13 millimeter socket, and they're torqued to 8 Newton meter. So we took those off, and now we're going to clean the pan. I'm going to spray the outside of it with rust reformer to protect it, and replace the filter, and we'll be right back. Alright, this is the pan, the inside of the pan. I don't know if you can see in here. There are some debris. I think this is a clutch material, which honestly I have never done transmission fluid change myself. This is my first time, so I have no idea if this is considered okay, normal wear of the clutch. Now keep in mind, this is a 40-year-old car, or is this not a good sign or anything like that. Filter looks good, the fluid looks good. Let's see if it's magnetic. We have a magnet here. Let's see if it doesn't look magnetic. So that's strange. So we need to do a little more investigation as to what this is. If you know, please comment. Let us know what you think we're looking at here. And this is how much fluid we took out. This is a gallon, so it's about half, I think. Isn't this a gallon? I think so. I have to check. What is this? It used to be, yep, 1 gallon of vinegar. Alright, now it's half a gallon of transmission fluid. Alright, so we cleaned the inside of the pan to get a better understanding of what this black dots are, and I think this is not from the transmission. I think this is paint. I believe that this pan was painted at one point in its life, and whoever did that did not ensure that the inside of the pan is covered. I want to say it doesn't come like that from the manufacturer with potential paint on the inside, but you never know 4 years ago. But I doubt it, so I don't have a solid answer. All I know is that this is not metallic. It doesn't come off. It's definitely paint. This is not anything that we need to worry about. And you could tell that there's more like on the walls versus the center, and over here it's not a good clean paint job. So this was paint, which is not ideal to have paint, but I guess it's on pretty good. It doesn't come off, so there was no chance it was circulating inside the engine. I need to clean it really good with something that has no fiber or lint coming off of it. Right now we're just drying it. We're gonna be washing this guy really good and scrubbing it before. Oh, great. Not in here. All right, so if you have any question, I hope this helped you see what to look for, what to do, how to do it. And hope you enjoy seeing this car being cared for the way it is, and it's being brought back to and ensured that the powertrain is in sound state. And now we're gonna clean this guy up. We're gonna paint it. So we're painting it, but we're not painting the inside or even the side that the gasket gets on. We're painting this side because although it's not rusting, but I see a little bit starting surface rust. So we're gonna clean it, sand it a little bit, and then spray it with a rust reformer. Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll show you the final results before it goes on the transmission again. All right, so we've been sanding the central control bracket. I think this is good enough. We're gonna spray it with rust reformer, and then after that it'll have another coat of the rubberized paint, and this guy should be protected for another 40 years. By then, I don't know if this car is gonna be my problem anymore. I'm just joking. And here we have the oil pan for the transmission, or the transmission fluid pan. We sprayed it with rust reformer and it's drying. So once it becomes dry enough for the touch, we'll put it back on the transmission. So in the meantime, we're going to go take a look at the filter, install it, and then get the gasket, put it on here. So the gasket, once we get to the gasket, this should be dry to the touch. Okay, now the pan is dry and it's time to add the new seal. This is the new seal. It goes on as such. It has these hooks to help you guide it. Make sure it's lint free and there's no debris of any kind, shape, or form. And then, I guess it's a bit sticky. Okay, we got this hooked from all sides. Want to make sure it's sitting comfortably. Double check, like they say, measure twice, cut once. Double check 2-3 times. And then this is a lint-free cloth, making sure the inside of this bolt. Okay. And then the bolts are 8 Newton meter and the drain is 14 Newton meter. So now don't forget that. These are the torques that you need to use. And we have no lint, nothing in here that would come off and go inside our transmission. Making sure it's clean and it's dry and there's no dust, there's no lint, there's nothing of any shape, sort. This keeps wanting to come off. So okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment of the truth. The pan is on. The bolts are torqued to 8 Newton meter. I cheated. I didn't feel comfortable with only doing 8 Newton meter, so I gave it an extra turn. But what you want to do is you don't want to tighten each bolt by itself to 8 Newton meter and then go to the next one, because by the time you get to the 6th bolt, the first one is no longer in torque. So you have to do adjacent ones, one corner with the other corner, that corner with this corner, and then the middle ones side to side. Then you need to go all the way around again with the 8 Newton meter. That should be enough. However, because of the age of the car and that metal warps a little bit, and also there were some buildup because it was leaking before, that I tried to get off with a microfiber. I didn't want to be left with a tiny bit of seepage from anywhere. I was gonna leave it, but then I was like, you know what, I want to crush that gasket a little bit more. So I went and I did, I think, almost 1 turn on each bolt. I felt like that is gonna give me a peace of mind and I don't have to revisit this. So you don't have to do it, but that's what I went with. Now it's time to put the bracket back on. So the bracket is right here. We sprayed it the other day, sanded it and sprayed it with rust reformer. It's just been sitting collecting dust, and now it's time for it to go back on. So we're gonna now install this one. I don't have a torque for these bolts, so we're just gonna put them on there and make sure they're nice and tight. Okay, so we taped up the rim and covered the rotor and caliper, can't think. And now we're going to do some rust reformer on any of the rusty parts that you see. And we brushed them with a metal brush, and before we do the rubberized undercoating. Okay, and there you have it, folks. Nicely sprayed, looks fantastic, as you can see. Just need to let it dry and then install the tires, and we should be all set. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is going to preserve the vehicle underbody and ensure that you know, dirt and rust doesn't start in this area. This area looks nice and shiny right now. Just gonna let the paint adhere and take off the tape and install the tires. Hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching. Please comment, subscribe, let us know what you're what you like. Excuse me. Here's the other side. Just wanted to quickly give you a sneak peek. It's gonna look amazing once we have the tires on. The back is already done. We've completed the back. You can see here, it looks really nice all across. Right, so we just finished the car and brought it down off of the jacks, and there you have it, folks. Brand new transmission fluid, transmission filter, and the gasket, all to spec. The wheel wells in the front and the rear are now undercoated and sprayed with rust reformer on any surface rust that was observed. It's looking nice and sharp and clean. It does need a wash though, so maybe tomorrow or some other day we'll wash the actual car. But yeah, here it is. We just finished. It's been a whole day project. Started with one thing, and before you know it, we did multiple fixes or maintenance to it, you could say. We sprayed the front wheel wells with undercoat. We power washed everything. The entire undercarriage was power washed and cleaned, even the transmission area, and then the rust reformer to any rust areas. And we cleaned the wheels. The wheels were super dirty. We cleaned them, we sprayed the lug nuts. They look a lot better. They still need surfacing and all that, so that's a project for another day. But you can see now the under wheel well looks nice and dark and clean and rubberized, which should protect against road debris and pebbles and hopefully reduce the noise. But anyways, it's a top down, so that's not a big concern. Now I am exhausted and I myself need some care and maintenance. Shower first is a must. So thank you for your time and hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know in the comment section what your thoughts are, and have a good night.